Hey everyone, Sky Godz June update coming up. Welcome back to the Sky Godz update vlog. May has been a little bit quiet. I had a lot of festivals, comic book conventions, and we published a couple books. So it was actually a rather busy month, and it was actually a good time to sort of reflect on where things are heading to. And I decided to do a third rewrite on the story. So let's just get into some details here. I got actually quite a few new things to talk about, but let's start first with the actual storyline. Now, for some of you who have already listened to the previous vlogs, what is Sky Godz all about? The arrival of the Anunnaki on Earth, and the creation of a hybrid race, and so on and so on. Basically, initially it was all placed sort of in the framework of Mesopotamia, Sumeria, the whole mythology, which I really like. But upon further reflection, I figured, this was the first wave of Anunnaki that came to Earth, way back 200,000 years ago. And I figured, Africa would actually be a much better place to start the storyline out. And there is some compelling evidence that that the initial arrival of the Anunnaki may have been in South Africa. It's mostly by Michael Tellinger, which may or may not be true, but he certainly makes some good points there. And it's well-known fact that I really do like the whole Nomo theory of the Dogon tribe in Mali. So Africa as the cradle of civilization does make a lot more sense basically than the Mesopotamian region. So I decided to sort of move the first season from the Mesopotamian Eridu base down to South Africa, and later on, basically in season 4 and 5, move it back up there, basically before Egypt. So that makes just story-wise a lot more sense. And quite frankly, I do like different locations. So I think each season should have some kind of a different location, which gives it a new flair, which gives it a new environment. It also adds with the storytelling and everything like that. So that was a really pretty big change, all in all, in the storyline of the season for her first season. And of course, that affected a whole bunch of other things. So a third rewrite was absolutely necessary, and I feel a lot more comfortable story-wise. And so I'm going to go ahead now, pretty much locking that in. The other bigger news that's been happening on the animation front is the actual start of the trailer. A trailer is an absolute must. I've literally shown lots of concept art now, but now it's literally, what is it going to look like? What is the type of animation going to look like? What is the color schemes going to look like? How are the characters going to move? What actually are the characters going to look like in motion? So that is the next step. It's not going to be a huge trailer, maybe about 20-30 seconds, but it's going to feature a lot of things. It's going to have scenes from season 1, which is going to be the beginning of it. And I figured, it would be really nice to have also sort of an overview of what's to come. So we're going to have scenes of Atlantis. We're going to have scenes of Egypt. We have some of the Egyptian gods. We're going to have some, especially that one sketch that I just recently posted of Ra. That one has been very well received. So it's going to go a little bit in that type of direction, a little bit Egyptian gods, a little bit season 1, but all nicely packed, in a sort of overarching storytelling trailer that gives you some sort of idea what the season and the whole series is going to be about. I think that will be pretty nice. So I started to implement little social media things that are maybe not the typical social media things like Twitter and Instagram. I started an Etsy account. For those of you who don't know what Etsy is it's sort of like the eBay of small crafts. One of the requirements of Etsy is that it has to be a product that you've made yourself. And I've hit about the 120 mark with my concept sketches, and I figured, hey, this is a good way to make maybe a little bit of money, but also give the viewers and the fans and the followers a chance to start purchasing some of those concept sketches, which, let's be honest, I mean, these are unique pieces of art. They only exist once, and this is the one time in history where you can buy those afterwards. Once they're gone, they're gone. I'm not going to remake those. They're basically concept art created for the show, and once they're scanned, and they're being used for that. So I figure I'll put some of those up, and you see in the background, I'll show you like what that looks like basically. I have about 30 sketches, or right now it's 29 because I had a contest the other day, which I do occasionally, so please watch the social media. I'll give away like some of these sketches, and one lucky follower won one of those sketches. And now it's 29 sketches I have up. I have all in all about 120, so I will upload more, like about 4 or 5 every week, and see how it's going. So far, no sales, unfortunately, but it is what it is. I just started out, and the pricing is sort of like you see, I priced it out at $45. I think that seems to be like a reasonable price. It's not expensive by any means for a piece of original art, but it's not like cheap like some of the stuff is on Etsy, like $10-15. I mean, I rather keep them if that's what it's all about. I want to show you like what those look like when you actually see them. These are pretty much like pieces of A4. I mean, obviously the colors are not really that great on the thing basically, but you see they're like color pencils. They're pretty clean. This is now the sketch of Raw that I was just talking about. And this was another one that was very well received. This is an alien from Cyrus. And yeah, this one is one that people really liked. So you see more or less what they look like. They're basically just like 100 grams or 80 grams A4 color pencil sketches, and that will be signed at the bottom. So, but I'll definitely not going to give up on that. I'll definitely going to keep that going, even if there's no sales in the immediate future. But eventually there will be some sales, as they always are. And I'll definitely keep going with that. And I'm also thinking about, I did open a Patreon account. I mean, I really didn't want to like do that kind of stuff in the beginning, but the more I think about it, I mean, this is sort of like an independent production, and I figured like, I produce so much material that why not give like patrons something special. But right now the Patreon account is empty. I haven't done anything yet. I'm just in the planning stages. Maybe with the next update, I'll give you some heads up. Another thing that I've been really interesting is on social media, the Tumblr has pretty much skyrocketed. Now that's really interesting because Tumblr is not considered to be at this point one of the major, one of the major social media platforms. Everybody's always talking about Twitter, people are talking about Facebook, but Tumblr is really, it's actually quite interesting because, I mean, there's very unique people, let me put it that way, there's very unique people on there. There's a lot of spam on there too, but there's a lot of good people on there. A lot of people are looking for different things. And my Tumblr account has really, really gone up quite heavily. I mean, I'm adding about 100 people every 2 weeks. And that's quite substantial. Considering I don't really have anything really to promote and show and sell. I'm basically just making posts, and I'm posting concept art, I'm posting ideas, but I'm not like really having a finished product yet. So there is actually somebody on Tumblr, is a young artist from Nicaragua. She's actually a quite talented animator in her own right. She was so smitten by the artwork that she decided to make a fan blog. So we actually have our own fan blog at this point. It's called Sky Godz. I'm showing you in the background basically what that looks like. So if you're on Tumblr, or if you're not on Tumblr, sign up to Tumblr and please follow that too. She posts some of her own fan art, basically based mostly around the Ashtar stuff. the Galactic Federation stuff that she was really inspired by, and she's also reposting and reblogging. I think it's called reblogging on Tumblr, reblogging some of the sketches that I'm posting. But of course, it adds additional, people, and more people see it. And of course, reblogging is an absolutely fantastic thing. And quite frankly, I really thank her for that. It's that's the way it starts out. You need to have those kind of peoples who championing you. And I think once we have a trailer and once the website is active, and there will be a lot more interest also from other sites. In other things, I do have quite a few videos ready to go. I have the one video on distribution, which I have been planning to do for a long time. However, I have to say there has been a lot of updates to that. The distribution platform is really changing pretty much like on an almost daily basis. And I do have some brand new information, so I wanted to put that in there. So this will be a longer podcast video on how to distribute your anime, film, series, whatever, with the latest up-to-date information. That will go up one of these days, probably today or tomorrow. Then I have the long-promised video about the alien races. This will be a series. I got the first one, the Lyran, ready to go, so that will be uploaded very soon, and then we're gonna move on to like Grays and all kinds of things. Basically, we're not gonna run out of ideas in that anytime soon. And then I'm planning a brand new vlog. It's called UFO Talk, the first vlog, I believe. And once you see the picture, of course, I believe. No, I think the title is "I Want to Believe." I want to believe, which is like a pun on the X-Files poster that Mulder had hanging in his office. I want to believe. That's sort of like a reflection blog. I do get a lot of questions, direct messages on social media, which actually kind of surprises me, and a lot of the questions surprise me too. So I do want to talk about in the UFO Talk about these questions that the Sky Godz followers and fans and viewers and whatever asking me basically. And I also want to talk about some of the state of ufology, about some of the people, some of the trends going on right now. There is some pretty interesting trends developing on YouTube, and I want to talk about that and my opinions, because I do consider myself to be a little bit one of the old guard. And I do have a couple words of caution to that, because it also came out in a question that most of these Sky Godz followers on social media are younger. We're talking about between 25 and maybe 34, and this is so-called millennials. And there are some serious issues there, and I'm definitely want to talk about that. So UFO Talk will hopefully be one way to regularly catch up with like what's going on, maybe not in the Sky Godz anime universe, but what's going on in the grander UFO paranormal conspiracy world. Okay, as always, please follow me on social media. It's the fastest and most intimate way to get in contact with me. And as I said, Instagram, we have daily updates. Twitter, we have daily updates. Tumblr, we have daily updates. Facebook, I'm not really that excited about anymore. Whatever. And just follow below in the description, and check out the Etsy store. And yeah, I'll see you in the next update.